2023 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 Plus is more than a junior EQS.
Correction. We have removed a statement that S-Class has Mercedes' hyperscreen infotainment screen, which it doesn't. Only the EQS and now the EQE have it. The proliferation of models in the Mercedes-Benz lineup has all but undone established relationships between the stars in Stuttgart's product constellation. But two of the company's luminaries remain gravitationally locked. A binary star system, the S and the E. The S-Class is Mercedes' supergiant, its brightest light. The E-Class is the secondary star, still effulgent yet merely giant, shining at somewhere around 8/10 the intensity of the S. This is why, not long after the debut of the all-electric EQS sedan, Cosmic Symmetry has us sampling the all-electric EQE. The former is the expected technological showcase. But Mercedes wasn't content to make the latter merely the expected 8/10 replicant, so the EQE is designed to be the EQS's sporty smaller brother. This starts with the EQ subbrand trademarks of a black fascia panel and a solid light bar across the rear, connected by the one bow greenhouse that arcs from cowl to tail. Among the superficial differences between the two EVs, the EQE lacks the EQS's solid light bar across the top of the grille and fits slightly different headlights and DRL signature. The EQE's dimensional changes accentuate sportiness. Overall length is about 9 inches shorter than the EQS, but the wheelbase shrinks by only 3.5 inches. The EQE maintains the visual connection to the EQS despite truncated overhangs rendering the side view somewhat stubby, an impression bolstered by the EQE being the same height as the EQS but fractionally wider. The battery tucked within the wheelbase is a 10-module version of the 12-module unit packed into the EQS. It's good for 90.6 kWh of usable energy and what we're told will be a range beyond 300 miles. As on the EQS, maximum charging rate is 170 kilowatts. The cabin gives up nothing but a few sybaritic frills to the EQS. The Burmester Audio's Atmos system isn't available here, for instance. The interior adds an inch of front shoulder room and 3 inches of overall length compared to the current E-Class, a sedan we've lauded for its luxurious digs. There's a quirk to the rear quarters, however, especially on entry. The condensed one-bow greenhouse also curves downward along its edges. This creates a noticeably compact rear door aperture, requiring a duck of the head to get past the curved lintel. Mercedes fitted the EQE with a trunk instead of a hatch as on the EQS, eliminating overhead hinges to increase headroom. Nevertheless, the floor-mounted battery pushes the rear hip point 2.5 inches higher than in the traditional E-Class. It's comfy back there, but adult rear passengers will find the curved cabin ceiling ever present in their vision. Moving to the front row gives a glimpse into our autonomous future. It feels like sitting in a tailored pod. The top edge of the door panel sweeps up from the windows and forward toward the windshield. There's barely any width to the door panel at the shoulder line, so forget about resting your elbow there unless the window is open. Although this won't matter in the autonomous future, the cowl further eats into visibility, and the advanced driving assistance equipment at the top of the steeply raked windshield obscures the already compromised forward view even more. The curved ceiling cuts the height of the side windows, and the hefty A and B pillars shrink their width, while the rear window as viewed through the rearview mirror is a bunker slit. This is a cockpit for looking inward rather than outward. Lucky there's a lot to do inside, then. The standard instrument panel puts a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster behind the wheel and a 12.8-inch tablet in the center dash. This is what goes for minimalist now, and it's handsome, set against a sweeping backdrop of wood or gloss black trim. The optional hyperscreen, making its second appearance after the EQS, spreads 3 screens across more than 56.0 inches of curved glass panel, in addition to the head-up display that's included with the hyperscreen. The user interface keeps the most often used systems such as navigation and music on the top level, generally doing a good job of keeping mission control legible. There were a few curious tics that might have been mitigated with greater familiarity, such as figuring out when the music controls are going to show up at the bottom of the center screen or on the right side. And among the navigational peculiarities, the augmented reality video feed pops up on top of the map in the center screen, hiding the arrow glyph we used to tracking. We ended up triangulating 3 nav displays at all times, one in the HUD, one in the instrument cluster, and one in center display. Which is a lot of scanning and a waste of at least 2 displays. The driving experience is everything one expects. The single motor in the EQE 350 Plus puts out 288 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. We'd formally consider those middling numbers to move some 5,200 pounds of Swabian heft, but what a difference electric propulsion makes. On snaking roads, the sedan hits its sporty little brother target, a product of the instantaneous torque, the optional rear-wheel steering, up to 10 degrees, and a curb weight that's a few hundred pounds lighter than the EQS. The advanced driver assistance systems could use some polish, however, exhibiting occasional learner's permit foibles like late braking and skittishness on narrow roads with oncoming traffic. But over-the-air updates promise to add finesse. We'll need to get the EQE in for testing to measure its noise levels versus the EQS. Our unaided ears found the executive transport more hushed at 110 miles per hour on the German Autobahn than other gas-powered and electric vehicles we've driven at far tamer highway speeds. In fact, the EV era could renew Mercedes's reputation for bank vault solidity. What made the biggest impression was the vacuum of space quietude. Mercedes engineers earned their obsessive representative hunting noises to eliminate. Take the powertrain carrier. They put the electric motor in a damped subframe that sits inside another subframe with the power electronics, shrouded those electronics in a sandwiched cover, then damped that subframe assembly from the chassis. Elsewhere, Mercedes rerouted climate control and cooling plumbing to eliminate fluid gurgling noises, and the foam-filled tires have their lettering cut into the sidewall instead of rising proud of it. Around town, the sedan rides calm as a crypt. At one Frankfurt stoplight we realized the only things we could hear were our tinnitus and neuroses. Despite its foibles, the EQE is already superb. And a 402 HP dual-motor EQE 500 4MATIC and the EQE 53 4MATIC Plus are still to come. While the kids are urged to get razor sharp on Gran Turismo and Digital Combat Simulator, we recommend meditation courses for EQE buyers. The quietude is going to give them a lot of time with their thoughts. Specifications: 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 Plus vehicle type. Mid-motor, rear-wheel drive, 5-passenger, 4-door sedan. Price: C, D Est base, $70,000 powertrain motor, permanent magnet synchronous AC, 288 horsepower, 391 pound-feet battery pack, liquid-cooled lithium-ion, 90.6 kWh onboard charger, 11.0 or 22.0 kilowatts transmission, direct drive dimensions: wheelbase, 122.9 in length, 196.6 in width, 76.2 in height, 59.5 in curb weight. C, D Est 5,200 pounds performance. C, D Est 60 miles per hour, 5.5 seconds 1/4 mile, 14.5 seconds top speed, 130 miles per hour EPA fuel economy. C, D Est combined city highway, 98 100ths, 96 mpge range, 300 miles expand.